Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Elderly man's body found in Portland, cops detain person of interest. A person of interest has been taken into custody following Monday morning's discovery of the body in a culvert in Port Antonio, Portland. The body, identified as that of 65-year-old Delroy Henderson, otherwise called Pappy, Sugar Rat, and Jr., of no fixed addresses, was found along Blake Street near a gas station. The victim was bleeding from a wound to the neck, reporters were told. Information reaching our newsroom was that around 4:20 a.m., a resident was walking along the roadway, saw the body, and alerted the police. On arrival, the police saw Henderson lying on his back in the culvert, dressed in a plaid shirt, blue jeans pants, and brown shoes. The shirt was bloody, and the body had what appeared to be a stab wound to the neck. He was taken by the police to the Port Antonio Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Following initial investigations, the person of interest was picked up by lawmen. He is to be questioned later by the police. Teacher among two women accused of smuggling ganja, other contraband, into jail. Two women have been charged with introducing contraband into a penal institution after they allegedly attempted to smuggle contraband and other illegal items into the Black River Police lockup on Saturday. Reports are that the Black River Police conducted a special operation dubbed Crackdown at the institution, where food containers destined for inmates were thoroughly searched. Items involving one cellular phone, cigarette, tobacco, ganja, lighter, and 3 concrete nails were reportedly found in the containers being delivered by the woman. 52-year-old Madeline Nelson Forrester, a teacher of St. Mary's District, Monroe in St. Elizabeth, and 41-year-old Jason Campbell, a shopkeeper of Crowtop District in Riversdale, St. Catherine, were subsequently charged. Both women are scheduled to appear in the Santa Cruz Resident Magistrates Court on Tuesday, July 4. Coleridge Minto, acting superintendent and commanding officer for the parish of St. Elizabeth, is warning persons to desist from attempting to take contraband into the lockups, as persons found in breach will be given the full extent of the law. 2 charged after robbery attempt foiled by cabbies cop. 2 men are now facing multiple charges following a hold-up at a taxi stand on Kent Hill Drive in St. Andrew and a subsequent manhunt on June 15. 22-year-old Tevin Foster, otherwise called Rain or Bear, and 30-year-old Anika Simit, also known as Caution or Emmy, have been slapped with charges of robbery aggravation, unauthorized possession of a prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and using a firearm to commit a felony. According to the Hunts Bay Police, both men, along with another accomplice, held up and robbed a group of men, including taxi operators, of their properties, which included a Toyota Probox motor car. They were then chased by the cabbies and other citizens before reportedly colliding with a Toyota Altis motor car that was being driven by a police officer at the intersection of Woodland Avenue and Mullines Road. The officer then joined the group in pursuit of the men, who ran from the vehicle but were later apprehended by the group. They were charged on Sunday, July 2nd, following interviews in the presence of their attorneys. Their court date is being arranged. JLP activist killed in Montego Bay. A Jamaica Labour Party activist and businessman was shot and killed, while another man was shot and injured along Railway Lane in Montego Bay, St. James on Sunday night. The deceased has been identified as George Henry, otherwise called Holo, 61-year-old, of Railway Lane. It is reported that about 8 p.m., Henry was at a shop he was operating along Railway Lane when a lone gunman walked up to him and opened fire, hitting him multiple times. Henry died on the spot. Another man was also shot and injured during the incident. Trial begins for murder banker's stepson. The trial continues of Javon Garwood, who has been accused of having a hand in the murder of his stepmother, 51-year-old banker Andrea Lou Garwood, as she worshipped at church in 2021. He pleaded not guilty when he appeared in the Trelawney Circuit Court on Monday, but his co-accused Dwight Bingham pleaded guilty and will be sentenced on July 25th. Bingham was the trigger man. Lou Garwood's January 31st murder shocked the nation as details emerged of the congregants running for cover when shots rang out inside what would usually be considered a safe space, Agape Christian Fellowship Church in Falmouth, Trelawney. The prosecutor told the court on Monday that as the 51-year-old banker worshipped, Bingham, also known as Prince, entered and took a seat behind her. He pulled a gun and shot her 4 times as she stood, along with other churchgoers. She later died while undergoing treatment at Falmouth Public General Hospital. The court also heard that as the shooter ran from the church, a cellular phone fell from him. He was spotted entering a white Toyota Alliant motor car. Brigham was later taken into custody, where he shared information about Lou Garwood slain with his cellmate, who passed on details to the police. Acting on that information, police went to Bingham's home, where a t-shirt and cap, fitting witnesses' accounts of what the shooter was wearing, were found in the garage. Brigham, who is from Rose Heights in St. James, was subsequently charged. He was represented at his trial by attorney-at-law Donovan Collins. Now Garwood is facing charges of murder and accessory before the fact. He is being represented by attorney-at-law Cadine Coleman, who will argue her case before Chief Justice Bryan. A 7-member jury has been empaneled for the trial. Garwood is the third person dragged before the court in connection with Lou Garwood's murder. In March 2021, getaway driver 23-year-old Leon Hines was sentenced to 6 years in prison for his involvement in the crime. This after he turned crown witness and agreed to provide evidence against both his co-accused. Originally charged with murder, illegal possession of firearm, accessory before the fact to murder, accessory after the fact to murder, conspiracy to murder, and misprision of felony, Hines eventually pleaded guilty to illegal possession of firearm and accessory after the fact to murder. Repulsive. Unsanitary human waste disposal, unsafe housing of both elderly and seemingly mentally ill people, and an unbearable stench among others are the many complaints of residents of the section of Edgewater in Portmore St. Catherine, where a private nursing home opened its doors almost 1 year ago. The residents are adamant that actions need to be taken to address issues at the home away from home nursing facility in the community, which they say is making their lives a living hell. During a visit to the quiet community on Monday, reporters were told by some residents that the matter has been reported to the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation. However, nothing has been done to correct the problem. Further, they said they were initially told that the house would have been used for the short-term rentals. When reporters called the municipality, a woman who answered the phone transferred the call to what she said was the Poor Relief Department. However, a woman from that department said the issue is not its responsibility and transferred the call to the front desk. The phone rang without answer. Efforts to contact Portmore Mayor Leon Thomas was unsuccessful as his phone rang without answer. Won't there stink? They are not supposed to have a place like this because it's like a residential area. Too much people in one place and they have no water. Every minute National Water Commission cut off the water. A resident who said she has been living in the community for more than 40 years stated, "I get to understand that when the lady come here, she was going to do an Airbnb until we started seeing different things happening now," she added. Another frustrated resident complained that human waste was being thrown over the fence into her yard and charged with mentally ill people that they are jumping the walls onto her premises. "I have had a bad experience with over there. Filth thrown over my fence, dirty laundry come over my house, and somebody come and put filth in the back of my house. Sometimes I cannot sleep at night because some people over there smoke ganja and make a whole lot of noise," the woman stated. Another resident complained that people who she believes are mentally ill walk through her yard. "They smoke, they seem like they urinate and throw it in the bottle over the fence. We could be passing by our yard at any moment and anything could come over in our face. We have to throw bleach out there to keep the place clean," she said. Yet another resident said she had been living there for more than 30 years and told reporters that while she is not pleased with the facilities operation in the community, she is mostly concerned about the elderly people living there. "A home should have been there in the first place. I have seen some old people and there seem to be a lot of young guys there too who seem mentally challenged. It's not safe for the elderly there, and I think the mentally challenged guys should be in a safer space, more controlled area," she noted. "Sometimes I would be at the back of my house and I'll walk with a golf club because I'm scared that one of the mentally challenged men would jump my fence at any time. One morning somebody was quarreling because one of the guys came out and lashed their car tires," she stated. Uncollected garbage, swarm of flies have been seen at the entrance of the facility on Monday. When a request was made to speak with a nurse from the home, a woman peeking through the window said, "Nobody is going to speak to you," followed by tittered and whispers. Please remember to subscribe,